There comes a point in every person's life when they face the silent war within, the moment where doubt whispers louder than belief, where comfort starts to look more attractive than challenge, and the idea of quitting disguises itself as a rational choice. But if you're hearing this, then that means a piece of you still wants to fight. A part of you, however quiet, refuses to settle. That part knows something deeper. Your potential wasn't given to you by accident. It demands to be awakened. This world doesn't hand out greatness. It doesn't reward the comfortable, the casual, or the half-heart. It recognizes those who stay standing long after everyone else has sat down. It rewards the ones who show up on the days they feel like quitting, the ones who get up again and again, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. We're not here to make friends with fear. We're not here to tiptoe toward our goals. We're here to rise, to grind, and to claim what we were meant to become. Because everything you want, every dream that's haunted you since childhood, sits on the far side of pain, repetition, and obsession. Before you go chasing the dream, you have to decide, are you willing to pay the price? Are you ready to be misunderstood, to be alone, to be told you're crazy, so that one day you can be the one who made it? This isn't motivation, this is a reckoning, and it starts now. Tired is a feeling most people surrender to. But what if tired wasn't physical? What if it was just a decision, a voice in your head whispering you've had enough when you've barely scratched the surface of your limits? The truth is, fatigue is born in the mind long before it ever shows up in the body. If you tell yourself you're tired, you'll move like you're tired, you'll think like you're tired, and eventually you'll believe it. But there's another path. There are those who tell themselves differently. They train their minds to override the signal, to push past comfort, and to prove again and again that limits are lies. Every day is an opportunity to give more. Not just enough to get by, not just 100%, but everything. Your full 120, you don't give 120 because someone's watching or because you'll be rewarded today. You give 120 because greatness demands a relentless, unreasonable level of effort. It's not optional. You have to want it so bad that you're willing to sacrifice comfort, convenience, even connection. You have to be obsessive. That's the cost. Because when you weren't handed anything, when nothing was guaranteed, obsession becomes your only chance at closing the gap. It's not about being gifted, it's about being hungry enough to outwork every excuse, every setback, every single person in your way. But obsession alone is not enough. You have to understand that chasing greatness means beating everyone else to the finish line, and that comes with a price psychologically, physically, emotionally. You'll feel it in your body, in your relationships, in your spirit. You'll lose sleep. You'll lose people. You'll question who you are and why you're doing it. That pain, the ache of loneliness, the sting of failure, the weight of pressure, that's the real toll of excellence. And it doesn't let up. It tests whether you're serious. It demands proof. But if you can shoulder that pain, if you wear it instead of running from it, you earn access to a version of yourself most never meet. The world will never hand you success freely. That's what makes it rare. Few are willing to make that kind of down payment, to give up so much now for something they can't even guarantee will come later. But the ones who do, they move differently. There's no room for fake smiles or empty talk. Think about the greatest competitors, Jordan, Kobe, Ali, Tyson. They didn't come to be liked. They came to dominate. They didn't shake hands on the court or exchange laughs on the sidelines. They weren't searching for approval. They were hunting greatness, and if someone stood in their way, they crushed them. That's the mindset it takes. You must believe you're the best before the world ever says it. Even when it sounds like arrogance, even when others say you're delusional, you have to hold that belief. Because belief fuels action and action builds reality. I'm the best. Not just on your good days, not just when it's easy, but even when everything's going against you. You might not even believe it all the time, but you still speak it, you still carry it, and you show up like it's true. And yes, sometimes the enemy is someone in your way, but more often the real enemy is you. The version of you that wants to settle, you crave comfort. That's the opponent. And here's the truth. You can't eliminate that voice, but you can dominate it. You can decide to outgrow it. Michael did. Brady did. Colbert did. They didn't just compete against the world, they competed against themselves over and over again. Because the truth is, champions are bored without a target. They need a mission, an adversary, something to push against. And when nothing presents itself, they create one. That's how serious they are about evolving. Success is not about proving them wrong. It's about proving yourself right. And the best revenge isn't confrontation, it's domination. It's growing so loud, so large, so excellent that the noise of your haters gets swallowed by the echo of your name. That's how you win. Not by talking, not by defending, but by casting a shadow so vast that no one can even see those who doubted you in the first place. Because when you're tired, when you're burnt out, when you're under pressure, that's when most people fade. But not you. That's when the real you needs to come alive. That's when champions are made. Everyone looks like a warrior when they're rested. But the ones who rise when their tank is empty, when their body is broken, when their heart is heavy, those are the ones who change the game. That's when the dog comes out. That's when we find out who you really are. It's not enough to be talented. It's not enough to want it. You have to show that you can carry the weight when it's heaviest, that you don't fold under pressure, you get sharper, that you don't crumble under expectation, you rise through it. That's the difference. That's the separator. That's what makes a legend. And if you truly believe that you're the best, then now is the time to act like it. Belief is the fuel. Without it, you can't go far. Without it, every bump in the road becomes a reason to turn back. If you don't believe in who you are and what you're chasing, then the work will break you. That's the truth. You have to build something unshakable inside, something no failure, no criticism, no obstacle can touch. And that starts with you, not your past, not your surroundings. You. It's easy to believe when the path is clear and the sun is shining. But belief matters most in the dark, when no one's clapping, when nothing's working, when you have to look at your reflection and declare, I can do this, even if no part of you feels ready, because real confidence is forged in doubt. It's born when you speak life into yourself before the world ever echoes it back. You are not your title. You are not your current results. You are not the opinions of others. You are what you decide to be. Your identity is formed by the choices you make, not the conditions you face. From the CEO to the student, the nurse to the artist, the athlete to the parent, we all share the same truth. There is more in you. More potential, more strength, more power than you realize. But you'll never see it if you keep playing small. It's time to execute, to stop wishing and start becoming. Learning isn't enough. Planning isn't enough. Hearing this message isn't enough. You have to do something with it. Take the words, put them deep inside and move differently. The version of you that wins doesn't just believe, they act on that belief daily. They align their actions with their purpose. Because once you understand that your destiny is waiting on the other side of belief, you stop hesitating. You start living. Purpose is the reason, the unshakable why behind every early morning and every late night. And without it, you'll quit. You'll fold when it gets hard. But when you know why you're here, when you feel it in your bones, there's no force that can pull you away from it. When your purpose is clear, pain becomes part of the process. Doubt becomes fuel, and failure, that's just feedback. Muhammad Ali once said, suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion. That wasn't ego, it was purpose speaking. He knew the pain had a point. He knew the grind had meaning, and that's what made him different. The same fire is available to you if you stop asking whether you're good enough and start proving it to yourself with action. Let them laugh. Let them doubt. Let them question you. You weren't born to be understood. You were born to be legendary. And legacy isn't built by waiting for approval. It's built by doing the work, staying the course, and refusing to break when the world tries to fold you. You say you want the dream good. Now speak it. Speak it until it echoes. Speak it until it reshapes the way you walk, the way you think, the way you fight. Declare it. Own it. Believe it. Because nothing you want will manifest until your belief is louder than your fear. You have to be bold enough to look at your obstacles and say, "You will not stop me." What wakes you up before the alarm? What vision burns so brightly that it pulls you out of bed? If it doesn't move you, it won't sustain you. And that's why your purpose can't be money or followers or fame. It has to be deeper. It has to be something no one can give you and no one can take away. When you're driven by something eternal, external resistance can't touch you. The fire in your belly, the one that won't go away, that's your guide. That's your reminder that you were built for more. And the world may not see it yet, but you don't need them to. It starts with one person believing you. You believe. When no one else does, you speak life into your vision when all you hear is silence. That's the price of purpose. That's the cost of belief. Every room you enter, stand tall. Walk in with the energy of someone who knows they belong. Even if you haven't earned your seat yet, confidence doesn't come from having it all together. It comes from knowing you'll find a way no matter what. And when fear whispers in your ear, when failure starts stacking up, remember, this possibility begins with belief. Impossibility is a lie sold to you by people who gave up. The only thing stopping you from becoming everything you were born to be is hesitation. Don't wait. Don't ask. Decide. Move. Speak life into your future until it becomes your present. Because belief isn't passive, it's a war cry. And every step you take in alignment with it brings you closer to the life you know is yours. Belief is the beginning, but belief without action is just noise. The difference between the ones who dream and the ones who do isn't found in talent or opportunity, it's in discipline. The daily decision to show up when it's hard, the choice to grind when no one's watching. While others are talking, you're working. While they're planning, you're doing. And when they're sleeping, you're sweating in silence, building something they'll only notice once it's too big to ignore. You don't get results from intention. You get results from execution. This world doesn't care about how bad you want it. It only responds to what you're willing to give for it. Sacrifice is the currency of success, and most people aren't willing to pay the full price. That's why the top is so empty. That's why legends are rare. Because working when it's easy is normal. But grinding when it's brutal, that's what separates the elite. You can't be average and expect exceptional results. If you're training 2 or 3 days a week while someone else is training every day, who's going to get better? If you're giving 70% effort when your competition is all in, what do you think the outcome will be? The game doesn't lie. Your preparation is revealed in every moment of performance. And the truth is, you have to be addicted to the work, addicted to discipline, addicted to the idea of becoming better than you were yesterday, even if no one claps, even if no one sees it. But here's where most people fail. They wait for a coach, a mentor, a miracle, someone else to step in and push them. And that's why they never break through. The secret, it starts and ends with you. You are the one responsible. You are the one who decides whether today becomes a brick in your legacy or just another lost opportunity. Stop waiting for someone else to validate your effort. Stop looking for help when what you need is grit. The mirror is your scoreboard. And every choice you make reflects who you really are. Whether you're a CEO or a cashier, a stay-at-home parent, or a student. It doesn't matter what title you carry. What matters is what you do with your day. Every role has greatness in it, but only the ones who attack it with intention will ever see it come to life. There is more in you. More discipline, more power, more consistency, but it won't come out unless you demand it from yourself daily. Muhammad Ali said it best: suffer now and live the rest of your life a champion. He didn't love the pain. He didn't enjoy the grind, but he understood what the grind was doing to him. It was shaping him. The fire wasn't destroying him, it was forging him. That's the perspective you need. You're not suffering, you're being sharpened. You're not breaking, you're being built. The moment you stop expecting ease is the moment you start gaining power. Because if you stand on who you are, your values, your grit, your belief, nothing outside of you can stop what's happening inside. You rise, not because the world says yes, but because you refuse to say no to yourself. The blood, the sweat, the early mornings and late nights, they aren't punishment. They're the proof, the evidence that you're becoming someone you once only dreamed of. And when the voices start to tell you it's too much, when it gets cold, lonely, exhausting, you hold. You hold, because what's on the other side of that breaking point is everything you said you wanted. You hold it because there's almost no prize for it. And you hold because the pain is temporary, but quitting is forever. Look yourself in the mirror and ask, how much more can I take? And when the answer comes back more, that's your cue to keep going. When you're tired, push harder. When you're doubted, work quieter. When you're overlooked, grind deeper. Because the real ones, the true champions, they don't wait for permission. They just show up and earn it. The truth is, the world doesn't reward the most talented. It rewards the most disciplined. The ones who make sacrifices for a lifestyle. The ones who know that every small decision adds up. Every hour matters. Every choice either builds the dream or buries it. So be the one who trains like nobody's watching. The one who finishes what others start. The one who pushes one more rep, one more hour, one more round. Because discipline isn't what you do when you feel like it. Discipline is what you do because that's who you are. You don't have to be the most talented, but if you're the most disciplined, if you give your everything when most give up, you won't just compete. You'll lead, you'll dominate, you'll win. Discipline drives the engine, but discipline without grit is a wish. That's why grit matters more than talent, because talent is fragile. Talent gives up when the road gets rough, but grit digs in, grit stays. Grit refuses to fold when the pressure rises. You don't have to be special to succeed. You just have to be consistent, disciplined, determined. You have to keep showing up. When no one's watching, when no one's clapping, when progress is invisible, you have to put in the hours, even when you're not sure it's working. Grit is the ability to show up again and again with faith that eventually the work will speak for you. Most people quit long before results ever show. That's why success is rare. Not because greatness is unreachable, but because so few have the stamina to stay the course. Grit is an obsession with purpose. It's the decision to stick with something not for days or weeks, but for years. Real results don't come in waves. They come in silence, in small gains, in long stretches of unseen effort. And the ones who win, they're the ones who never stopped, even when it made no sense to keep going. Sacrifice is not a punishment, it's a prerequisite. You can't skip it. You can't substitute it. You want to grow, then give something up. Give up comfort. Give up the need for validation. Give up the idea that this should be easy. Because the path to real gains, real transformation, always runs through pain. And the sooner you embrace that, the freer you become. Pain is not a signal to stop. It's a sign that you're growing. Everyone feels it. Everyone stumbles. But the ones who rise again, who lean into the struggle, they're the ones who emerge transformed. Growth requires bruise. It requires exhaustion. It demands a level of discomfort most won't tolerate. But if you can hold on, if you can walk through it, you'll come out on the other side unrecognizable from who you were. Think about the greats. Michael Jordan didn't make his varsity basketball team his first year. They said he wasn't good enough. He could have walked away, but instead he locked in. He trained harder. It turned rejection into fuel. That fire carried him to 6 NBA championships and a legacy that still defines greatness. J.K. Rowling was told no by publisher after publisher. She was broke, struggling, raising a child alone. But she didn't stop. She kept writing even when it felt like no one believed in her story. Today, her books have sold over 500 million copies. Her name is known across generations, not because she never failed, but because she never quit. That's grit. That's what separates ordinary from legendary. Not luck, not timing, not talent. Grit. You have to be willing to lose sleep, to walk alone, to keep going when your mind says stop. You have to accept that the journey will test you not once, but constantly. There will be moments when everything in you says it would be easier to quit, and maybe it would, but greatness doesn't live in ease. It lives in the tension between doubt and determination. It lives in the decision to take one more step when your legs feel like giving out. Grit is your decision to persist, not because you see results, but because you promised yourself you wouldn't stop until you earned them. Grit is finishing what you started. It's saying, I'm still here, even after life tried to knock you down. And it's understanding that even though it hurts, even though you're tired, even though the progress is slow, you are still moving forward. You want to build something that lasts. Build your resilience. Build your capacity to endure. Learn how to carry weight, how to bleed without complaining, how to fall without staying down. There is strength inside of you that you've never seen, but you'll only find it on the other side of struggle. So next time life hits you, hit back. Not with anger, but with persistence. Not with noise, but with action. Let your response be your resilience. Let your consistency be your comeback. Because grit doesn't just get you to the finish line, it changes who you are on the way there. And that version of you, that's the one who can't be stopped. You can't grow if you won't take responsibility. That's the truth most people run from. Because it's easier to point fingers, to blame the system, the coach, the boss, the world. But the harsh reality is this. If you're not where you want to be, it's not about what's out there, it's about what's in here. Accountability is not to blame, it's ownership. And the moment you own everything, you gain the power to change anything. You either get it done or you don't. There's no middle. No justification makes up for the fact that the work didn't get finished. And in this life, results matter, not excuses, not intentions, execution. And if the job requires 100%, then 99 isn't enough. If you're the one that stops at good enough, you'll always be outrun by someone willing to go further. If I'm hiring, I want the person who's obsessed with the result, the one who sees failure and says, that's on me. I'll fix it. But that mindset doesn't come easy. It's forged in moments when everything goes wrong, and instead of hiding, you ask, what could I have done better? It's shaped when you stop defending your effort and start dissecting your flaws. Growth begins when the second ego steps aside. And that's not a weakness. That's leadership. That's maturity. That's what separates those who stay stuck from those who evolve. I had to learn that lesson myself. When I lost a contract, when I felt wronged and betrayed, I sat in that anger. I replayed everything they did to me until my mother asked the question that changed it all. What could you have done better? At first I resisted. I told myself I was right, that I gave it my all. But the more I looked inward, the more I saw the truth. I brought problems, not solutions. I complained more than I contributed. I made myself hard to lead. And that revelation, that was the beginning of real growth. Nobody wants to admit they're part of the problem. But everyone who wins eventually does. The ones who keep climbing are the ones who ask themselves tough questions, who audit their habits, their attitude, their energy. They don't wait for feedback, they seek it. Because they're more committed to getting better than to being right. Stop obsessing over what other people think about you. Start obsessing over whether you're living at your highest standard. When you take full ownership, you stop chasing external approval. You stop waiting for praise. Your drive comes from within, and that's when you become dangerous. Because nobody can take away what you've built from self-leadership. Growth is a process. It takes patience, but more than that, it takes the truth. You can't fake your way into greatness. You can't lie to yourself about where you're slacking and expect real change. You have to face the mirror daily and ask, did I give everything today? If not, why? What needs to change? What can I do better? This mindset doesn't just apply to work or sports or business. It applies to your life. As a father, a mother, a partner, a leader. The bottom line doesn't just live in the office, it shows up at home. If my family is hungry, I'm starving. If they're uncomfortable, I don't rest. Because my responsibility is to provide, protect, and elevate the people who depend on me. And that standard doesn't allow for laziness. Am I the most organized person in the world? No. Am I the most naturally disciplined? Probably not. But I will do whatever the situation demands. If excellence requires sacrifice, I'll make it. If it requires structure, I'll build it. If it requires a new version of me, I'll become it. That's the difference. Winners don't rely on their default. They upgrade their settings. You can't assume that opportunities will just find you. You have to expect resistance. You have to anticipate the challenge. The world owes you nothing. But if you take accountability, if you own your role in every success and failure, then you create the opportunity. You become an opportunity. Hard work is not about grinding just to collapse. It's about putting in the work so you have the freedom to rest on your terms. You don't work hard to impress. You work hard to unlock options, to earn a choice, to live life with intention, not reaction. That's what growth is, a byproduct of consistent effort plus radical honesty. And you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be accountable. You just need to stop hiding behind blame and step fully into the responsibility of who you're becoming. Because once you decide to own it all, there's nothing that can hold you back. The hardest part of the journey isn't the work, it's the waiting. We're wired to want fast results, immediate feedback, instant validation. But real success doesn't work like that. There's a delay, a gap between action and outcome. And inside that gap is where most people quit. That silence between effort and result is where the dream dies for the impatient. But if you can learn to embrace it, to keep going when nothing seems to be happening, you unlock a level of power that few ever find. Big goals don't come with quick returns. If your vision is massive, then your timeline has to stretch to match it. Don't confuse delay with denial. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. Most people give up not because they weren't capable, but because they didn't wait long enough. They couldn't stand the silence. They couldn't endure the gap. You have to fall in love with the process, not just the result. Because there will be long stretches where the only reward is knowing you didn't stop. And that has to be enough. That has to light your fire. You have to learn to trust the unseen, to build with no applause, to carry your vision quietly until the world catches up. That's why mastery belongs to the obsessed, the disciplined, the ones who show up long after the motivation fades. Confidence doesn't come from compliments. It comes from repetition. You build it by doing the thing so many times, so consistently that it becomes second nature. That's the truth behind champions. It's not magic, it's boredom. They've done the reps so many times, they can't get it wrong. You want to be unshakable? Then do the work until it bores you. Do it until you don't need adrenaline to act. Do it until you're sick of it, and then keep going. That's when the nerves fade. That's when the anxiety disappears. Not because the task got easier, but because you became stronger. Your competence outgrew your fear. Think of confidence as a predictive metric. You believe it's going to work because it has worked. You've proven it to yourself through repetition. It's not about fake hype, it's about real evidence. Confidence is earned, not declared. But here's where it gets real. Sometimes you'll be doing everything right, and still nothing changes. That's the test. That's the moment that defines whether you're casual or committed. Will you keep acting even when the results aren't visible? Will you keep moving without a reward? Can you keep climbing when the peak is hidden in fog? Because that's how it happens. Success moves slower than you expect until it moves faster than you can imagine. There's a tipping point where all the seeds you've planted suddenly bloom. But to get there, you have to survive the stretch where the soil looks barren. You have to keep watering what you can't yet see. That's where most people get it wrong. They expect fast wins, and when those wins don't come, they quit. But what they didn't realize is that everything was working, it just wasn't showing yet. The progress was internal. The muscles were growing, the roots were spreading, and right before the breakthrough, they gave up. That's why patience is a weapon. Delayed gratification is a skill. The greater the vision, the longer the delay. But the longer the delay, the greater the reward. If you want to win big, you have to learn how to wait without losing faith. You have to act as if the reward is guaranteed, even when there's no proof yet. And that's not easy. The journey will test you with silence, with uncertainty, with long nights where doubt becomes louder than belief. But uncertainty isn't the enemy. It's the environment where greatness is forged. You don't need full control to make progress. You need conviction. You need discipline. You need vision that outlasts resistance. So stop asking how long will it take. Start asking how far can I go if I never stop? Because when you make peace with uncertainty, when you stop needing fast feedback and start committing to long-term output, you become unstoppable. No more timelines. No more expectations of instant wins. Just daily action. Relentless consistency. The journey isn't about reaching a destination, it's about who you become on the way. And one day when it all clicks, it won't feel like a surprise. It will feel like confirmation. The world will finally see what you've known all along, that you were never waiting for your moment. You were becoming it. Before we part ways, I want to take a moment to speak directly to you. If you made it this far, if you listened, felt reflected, and maybe even saw a version of yourself in these words, then thank you. Not just for your time, but for your courage. Because listening to something like this isn't easy. It means you're searching. It means you're hungry. It means there's a fire inside you that refuses to go out. And I see that. Life will test you. There will be moments when you feel alone in your pursuit, misunderstood in your passion, exhausted in your grind. But I want you to remember this: you are not alone. There are warriors just like you, grinding, believing, pushing through the dark to reach the light. And you have everything inside you that you need. The world may not always validate your effort, but that doesn't mean it's not working. Trust your journey, own your story. Keep building, keep believing, and keep becoming. My hope is that something in this message reminded you of your power, that you walk away today a little taller, a little more certain, and a lot more ready. Ready to show up for your dream. Ready to push through the silence. Ready to do the work no matter how long it takes. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you for giving me your attention, your trust, and your energy. I'm rooting for you. I'm believing in you. And most of all, I hope you are too. Now go chase it. Go become it. And never forget, you were built for this.